Get ready to throw down because this show is about to get the action started. We'll show you all the bounces and all the shots from way downtown. Coming right at you, that one should be worth 4. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. That was definitely a fun one.
That was a fun one.
Half court at the buzzer. Unfortunately, it mattered very little to the outcome of the contest.
Right.
But very, very little to talk about. Half the teams are done.
Yep.
So we're going to do a 15-minute show tonight, a 15-minute show next week. And 2 weeks from now, we'll be wrapping up the winter season. And then we just got to wait for some sunshine and some warmer weather before
let's hope that's soon.
Well, you're the meteorologist. Bring it to us.
Yeah, well.
So
good luck to all out there.
Right. So we'll have to wait a little bit before we get that spring preview.
It's going to be a while before kids and teams are outside.
But we will have some state tournament action to talk about next week on the program.
Yep.
We'll start this week's show talking about the boys hockey team. The section championship will be held on Thursday of this week. It will not include the Coon Rapids Cardinals. Cards definitely showed signs of improvement toward the end of the season, but nothing dramatic enough to help them get past the big dogs in Section 5AA. As the 8th seed, the Cardinals drew top-seeded Blaine in the quarterfinals, a true David versus Goliath matchup. Coach Mo taking his team into sections for the first time, hoping they can give the Bengals a run for their money. Early on, Cardinals generating a good scoring chance with Blaine defender able to lift Hess's stick at the last second and make it a non-effort. Face-off in the Coon Rapids end, Jesse Slosser wins the draw to Easton Brodzinski, takes a few steps, buries the wrister, and that put the Bengals on the board just over 4 minutes in. They strike again about 5 minutes later. Griffin Fussy working behind the net. Great backhand pass out front. Slosser there for the one-timer. That top line added another before the end of the first. Blaine was up 3-0. Bengals had 2 more in the second. Riley Tufte tips this shot by Tanner Vecchio. That made it 4-0. Brodzinski added his 3rd goal of the game just 8 seconds later. Cardinals just had no answer for Blaine's speed, power, and passing. Bengals outshot the Cardinals 39-10, including 17-3 in the 3rd period. Only goal of the final period, that power play tally by Jordan Turnquist right there on the rebound. Bengals do what they're supposed to as the top seed dispatch the Cardinals easily, winning 6-0. They went on to beat Maple Grove in a nail-biter 2-1 to reach the championship. The other scores, Maple Grove getting past Osseo in the first round 5-4. Centennial holding serve over Champlin Park 5-2. And Anoka beating Rogers 3-2. Centennial a minor upset. Actually, it should be 6-2 as the number 3 seed beat the number 2 seeded Anoka Tornadoes. It'll be Blaine and Centennial facing off on Thursday for a trip to the state tournament.
I was going to ask you how that worked if Centennial lost, how they got to the next round.
Right, hey, just luck of the draw. But and Blaine is really, really good. They've got a couple of really nice players. That top line especially is very dangerous.
It was a tough draw for the Cardinals, quite obviously. They just lost to them, I believe it was 9-1 a couple of weeks ago. And come back and play the number one seed, it made it tough. But it was a tough season. A lot of things didn't go the Cardinals' way.
Well, and some things did, and like I said, I think so they did show some serious signs of improvement toward the end of the year. They're going to, lose some seniors, of course. But it's just the first step in the new program under Coach Mo. So.
The state wrestling championship will be held this week at XL Energy Center in Coon Rapids. Well, they'll be well represented. It's no surprise with the talent the Cardinals have on the mat this season. It's still an impressive accomplishment when you consider how tough Section 7 is. More than half of the Cardinals lineup finished top 4 in last week's individual tournament, and 4 are moving on. Section tournament held at Cambridge Isani this year. We opened with Justin May at 145. First round action, nice fireman's carry to get the takedown on Anoka's Liam Strong. May won this match with a 15-5 major decision. He would go on for a 4th place finish at 145. Josh Bryant lost his first match at 138 in triple overtime, but he comes back strong. He gets Forest Lake's Alex Carney in the cradle, takes him straight to his back, getting the pin in the first round. Bryant won 3 straight to take 3rd place. We go to 182. Bothwell just overpowering Cambridge's Dave Frickin early in the second period. Bothwell scored 2 pins before losing the championship, but earned his place at state with another pin in the true second match. Jared Jakulski locking up with Elk River's Ben Giebus in the opening round. Great job overpowering his man for the takedown. Jakulski won 3 straight, including a 2-1 thriller in triple overtime of the championship, and he's headed to state. Tyler Birdall opened the tournament with a pin, and in the semifinal, he asserted his dominance over Cambridge's Jacob Olson. Birdall manhandled Olson and on his way to a 16-2 major decision, then won the championship with a 3-2 nail-biter, and he is headed back to the state tournament. Great showing, Joe, for the Cardinals wrestling squad in the sections.
Absolutely. There are your top 3 place finishers. Jolkowski and Birdall raising crowns for Section 7 3A championships. Keanu Baker and Michael Bothwell both qualifying for the state tournament as runners-up. Of those 4 going to the state tournament, 3 are making their second trip to state. It'll be the first time for Michael Bothwell. Mike Jones finished 3rd at 113 pounds, and Josh Bryant finished 3rd at 138 pounds. They also had a couple of 4th place finishers, a couple of 6th place finishers, and it'll be exciting. I think there's some great talent at all of those levels, but it'd be nice to see. We haven't seen a champion in a while, but I think any of those 4 really has a legitimate shot. And according to Coach Adams, an email he sent me, he felt like they all got pretty good draws.
Yep.
And should be able to gain some momentum with early round wins.
Yeah, we wish him a lot of luck, and certainly we'll be there in spirit, no doubt.
And we'll have the highlights for you here on Sports Night next week. Swimming and diving section championships are coming up this week. We'll have those highlights for you next week on Sports Night as well. And as we mentioned last week, a couple of those guys an opportunity to make it to the state tournament as well. Boys basketball team wrapped up its regular season last week and will open tournament play on Thursday in St. Francis. Cardinals are limping into the playoffs, missing some of their top players, but the remaining squad has picked up its play and is showing no signs of rolling over. Last week, the Cardinals at Centennial facing a Cougars club near the top of their division and playing some of their best basketball down the stretch. It's the Cardinals that jumped to the early lead with a quick little spurt. Timmy Wynn with a nice drive to the basket. He led all scorers in the game with 24 points. Seesaw battle early, Cougars swarming on the offensive glass. Connor Lund finally able to tip the 3rd chance home on this trip down court. Centennial able to take its first lead of the game. Battle goes back to the other way. Peyton Foy stepping in to hit the 15-footer. He had 16 in the game, and Coon Rapids back in front. Late in the half, Coon Rapids with a 3-pointer for Brody Lang, and they get to the half with a 40-35 lead. This game stays close throughout. Elliot Lydeen jumps the lane, steals the pass, runs the floor for the basket, and that evens the score again. Wynn running the floor with his team down by 2, draws the defense, dishes to Marcus Rask with the open look from the perimeter. His 3 puts Coon Rapids back in front. Unfortunately, that was followed by Centennial's biggest spurt of the game. Matt Robinson hit 2 3-pointers as part of a 15-0 run that put the Cougars in the lead for good. Coon Rapids able to cut into the lead a couple of times, but Centennial would persevere in the end, holding on for the 89-80 victory. And that really was the story, that 3 or 4 minute stretch when Centennial went on that run, 15-0 run. I think they had at least 3 and maybe even 4 3-pointers during that little spurt. And outside of that 4 minutes, we had a great game.
It really did, and I think in the games that we've done, probably the best we've seen them play all season long. And obviously we haven't seen every game, and it'll be interesting to talk to Coach O before the game on Thursday and how he felt his team is coming off that win. I think they're going to have a good week of practice. They're going to be ready for St. Francis. It should be a lot of fun, and they hope to go up there and be the spoiler.
Especially when you consider they're missing not only some of their top talent, but some of their better leaders.
Absolutely.
Due to injury. Cardinals wrapped up the regular season at home against Andover, losing to the Huskies 78-52. Peyton Foy leading the way with 22 points. Timmy Wynn and Tyrion Johnson each had 12, but the scoring falls off from there, and that is the total points there. Only 5 guys getting on the score sheet for the Cardinals. And as you mentioned, they will be in St. Francis. The Saints, the number 2 seed, the Cardinals, the number 7. Cambridge Isani, the number 1 seed, will host Forest Lake in the first round. Andover and Anoka, the 4 and 5, will do battle, and Blaine will host Duluth East on Thursday night.
Peyton Foy has been playing really well as of late, too. They're going to need him on Thursday.
Yep.
The girls' basketball team wraps up the regular season this week with a visit from Elk River on Tuesday and a trip to Spring Lake Park on Friday. The Cardinals started last week on their home court facing Centennial. The Cougars are right in the middle of the Northwest Suburban Pack and looking to end their season on an upswing. It would be a serious challenge for the Cardinals just to keep pace. Centennial setting the tone early, spreading the perimeter, and a nice look inside to find Nikki Clark for the finish. Cougars out to a fast start. Cardinals trying to keep pace, able to find some baskets. Kaylee Porsche with a shot from the lane, getting the shooter's touch. Was a fall. Coon Rapids offense doing a nice job spreading the floor and then finding Cheyenne Signer at the back door for the basket. She finished with 6 points in the game. Cougars spreading the lead late in the half. Clark gets the open look from the perimeter, and she hits the three-pointer. Centennial with a 47-22 lead at the break. And it just got worse in the second half with the Cougars pouring it on. Sarah Gross scoring in the lane, one of 3 Centennial players in double digits. They get 14 points from different players in this game and allow, 14 players from this game and allow the Cardinals just 9 points in the second half as they cruise to an 81-28 win. That's tough to score 9 points in a half, and especially at this time of the year, you're trying to build a little momentum before you get to section play.
When the other team has 14 different players contributing to their score.
Wow.
I'm glad I wasn't there trying to do my little score sheet because I would have run out of room.
Yeah, you would have the legal pad. You would have to get the legal pad for that one.
14 pages is a lot. The Cardinals wrapped up the regular season on the road, or wrapped up last week, I should say, on the road against Andover. They lose that one. It's a little bit tighter. They lose 63-45 to the Huskies. Mackenzie Wilkins led the scorer with 10 points. Kaylee Porsche had 9. Marina Nyberg had 8. Cheyenne Signer had 7. And Hagstrom added 5. So the scoring at least a little more balanced in this one. The Cardinals 2-23 with 2 games remaining. And as you mentioned, they host Elk River on Tuesday. And Howie?
We'll be there.
Then they are at Spring Lake Park on Friday. Not an easy way to end the season.
No.
Because Elk River, one of the top teams in the conference.
Yeah, they beat them handily the first time, and I believe it was running time in that first game. So Cardinals, they've developed a little bit over that period of time, and they hope coming back. It's going to be senior night, so there's going to be a little excitement in the air.
Well, of course.
To get that opportunity.
Of course it's going to be senior night. The CTN crew is going to be there.
Exactly. We've done a few of them.
It's about our 5th senior night this year. Some on the road. Centennial last week for boys basketball was senior night as well. It's wrapping up quickly, and then of course we'll follow the girls basketball team into the playoffs as well. We've got girls basketball against Elk River on Tuesday. Boys basketball now we know that TBA actually stands for St. Francis. That's where we'll be on Thursday night. That'll not be live, as that will be Minnesota State High School League won't let us do that, so that'll be rebroadcast here starting at midnight on Thursday night. Girls basketball, that's true. We do not know yet what that matchup will be, but we do kind of know that it will not be at Coon Rapids. It will not be at Coon Rapids.
They would like it to be at Coon Rapids.
They would. That's not the way it works.
No.
They will not be the high seed.
Can't flip a coin. They're going to try, but they'll be on the road.
Hey, you might as well everything else is working against them. Let the low seed.
Absolutely. Why not?
Not the way.
Not in the cards.
But that's going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us. Continue to support everything we do here at CTN for the entire crew, including Howard Shapiro. I'm Joe Young. Saying good night.